Hello all, Pit Bike Mike, and today we have something new to try out on this channel. We have a 2023 CFMOTO 300SS. Nice Chinese little sport bike. Now, why do I have such a bike, you may be wondering? Well, I have found another victim. I mean a new willing participant entering into the bike life. My little brother. I have finally convinced him to get a bike and to become a part of this journey that we call motorcycle riding. So, a little backstory on this thing. We got this thing used with only 115 miles, but in those 115 miles, 1.5 months of ownership from the previous owner, he ever so gently dropped said bike. Got a little bit of there on the bar end weight. Let me get in nice and close. Boom. Got a little bit of scrapes here. Yeah. Bit on the kickstand. Yeah. Slightly abused, but for a phenomenal price. So, these things, well, let me, reverse back a little bit. These things, when new, or at least when the deal that we looked at was $36.99, $3,699 before all your mandatory fees. Now, this thing, because it's ever so lovingly been dropped, was only $3,200 out the door. So that's like almost a $1,800 savings for a slightly abused bike. But yeah. So getting back onto this bike, we got these CST radial tires. So I'm guessing CST stands for China Standard Tire, or Chinese Standard Tire. I don't really know. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Maybe I'm just being an a-hole. Who knows? But we got a nice 140, 60, 17 on the rear, and a 110, 17 on the front. Now, while I'm also here at the front, that front brake, technically it is a brake. It technically does stop you. Not very well, but it does. Rear brake, not too bad at all. Does come standard with ABS, which is pretty nice. Now let's make our way over here we'll get that started up for you. That's a nice little TFT display. It's pretty fancy looking, 264 miles. I'm trying to get it broken in for my brother. So let me throw a leg over this thing and we'll go through the menu. Alright, here we are with the menu, or the screen. So over here you have to press and hold this little button, ENT, to get to your information screen. Got info, which has your voltage, your coolant temp, warning, service, miles info. Which miles info is it's going to give you your odometer, which 264, average speed 20 mile an hour, consumption unknown, total ride time 12.7 hours, trip 1, yeah. So one little thing that I have to say before we go into anything else, you have to come all the way down here to settings and then scroll down even more to get to trip 1 and trip 2 reset. It's a little inconvenient, especially when you're sitting at a gas station, you just filled up and you're ready to hit the road, and it's like hang on, let me spend like 30 seconds going through my menu to reset everything. Slightly inconvenient, but what can you do? Now, we do have telephone connectivity and navigation based off of your phone. So I'm not 100% sure on how this works yet. I haven't looked into it too much, but there is supposedly a app that you can get onto your phone that allows you to connect up to the bike, and it allows the navigation from your phone to work on here and for you to be able to see your telephone calls and cool stuff like that. Alright, over here on the left grip cluster, whatever you want to call it, it has a mode. So you have Sport and Eco. I'll be honest with you, there's no difference. It just changes the screen, which, you know, it's whatever. 88.2 mpg. Haven't verified how accurate that is yet, so we will see later on in some videos. Alright, with this little 300cc, don't expect much, but super quiet. Oh, while I'm down here real quick, I know I'm scatterbrained, you know, what can I do? See right here, you got this nice little sticker that tells you your oil capacity on the side of the block. That is so nice. So nice. Alright, well, let's get moving. Alrighty, now that we're on this bike, I will definitely tell you, as you all know, I am not a big fan of crotch rockets. And this isn't as bad as a Super Sport, but it definitely is not as comfortable as my naked bikes. But, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do for the views. Clutch. The clutch is super light on this bike. It's got a slipper clutch. The clutch engagement is really nice. It has a nice, like, you can definitely tell where it engages. It doesn't leave any room for interpretation. It gets up and goes really well. It's got like 30 horsepower, 18 foot-pound of torque on this bike, which I know those are just staggering numbers, aren't they? Now, unfortunately, I won't be able to really rev this thing out and give you all the views on this thing because it is still in the break-in period. But from the little bit that I've been doing with it, it is pretty nice. The Chinese standard tire is decently grippy. Can't really complain about that too much. So as we're sitting at this stoplight and I'm trying to think about things to talk about, I've thought about the fit and finish of this bike. I gotta say, the plastics aren't bad. You know, when you push on them, they're not too many creaks, you know, in different spots. Now, I will admit there are creaks right here in the gas tank. Let's see if you can hear it. Oh yeah, that little bit of a creakiness through the gas area is, you know, not the most satisfying sound, especially when getting onto the bike and you kind of push up against the tank just ever so slight. So on this bike you got LED headlights, turn signals, tail light, which, you know, you're getting some pretty premium stuff on a, you know, sub $4,000 bike, which, you know, you gotta admit is extremely impressive. I don't know how the long-term reliability of this bike's gonna be yet, but you know, I kind of like it. If only it wasn't in this hunched over position to where, you know, after riding for an hour and a half, my neck hurts, my wrist hurt, and I'm just generally done with life. But what can you do? What can you do? Alright, now that we're hopefully moving again for an extended period, this thing actually does surprisingly well on the highway. When I was bringing it back from the dealership, I was sitting about 70 mile an hour, and I gotta say, it was smooth. It was extremely smooth at 70 mile an hour. I was really impressed. And you know, to answer the question that may be in some of your all's head, why didn't I record on my way home from the dealership to get you that first ride, that first impression? Well, for one, my battery died on my GoPro because I'm so great at keeping it charged up. And then it rained, so my first ride was in the rain, and oh, look at this traffic. Woohoo, yay, so much traffic. And then we got somebody that's slightly special up here. So as we're, you know, going slow in traffic, I'm a new rider. Maybe I have to get that, you know, that little sticker or something and just slap it on the bike. Like, new driver, please use caution, be patient. But going on, this thing is super light. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head. I'll put it on the screen, but this thing is extremely light, which is very nice actually. I know a shortcut. You know, if I was in California, I would actually be able to lane split and do all that good stuff. I had to adjust my camera, sorry about that. Or a lane filter, split filter. I don't really know the difference, but all I know is I'd be able to just bypass all these cagers going slow. But then, you know, knowing my luck, I would get another entitled cager when I happen to pass, get all butthurt, and then want to throw hands over, you know. But, you know, I'm you know, going off topic, which, you know, people seem to love to complain at me about. But it's whatever, you know, this is how I am. Ain't nothing I can do about it. But yeah, about this bike, it's a nice bike. I do like it. I do like it. Would I buy one for myself? Not the street bike version. You know, like this, like a crotch rocket. I went the wrong way. Good job. I'm so intelligent. Whatever. We're going on an adventure. Alright, let's see the turning radius. Alrighty. So going on, I wouldn't purchase it for myself. At least this model. I don't know, it's kind of hard to say. I wouldn't mind trying like one of the other CFMOTOs. Obviously not the ones that have the KTM derived motor, because obviously you all know how I feel about that, and you know, it's kind of, I almost feel like, how's the way to put it, like putting a KTM motor in a Chinese bike, that would almost make the reliability worse. Like, how is that possible? Making a Chinese bike's reliability worse. Alright, where am I going? I don't know where I'm going. I guess I'm going this way. I'm pretty sure I went the wrong way. Somehow, some way. It is whatever. So, obviously this is not a big touring bike. You're not going to be winning races, but doing, you know, small roads, side roads, you know, nothing too entirely crazy. It's a solid bike. It really is. Alrighty, now that we're back on a road that isn't so bad with traffic, because, you know, I always like to do videos right during traffic time to where I can't even go and do any of my fun side roads. But I don't really have much else to say about this bike, you know, in particular. It's a solid bike, and you know, for the price, you can't beat it. You know, let's be honest. For $3,200 out the door, you know, it's kind of hard to even get a used Grom for that price. You get a 8 horsepower Grom when you can get a Chinese 27 horsepower motorcycle. You know, but to each their own, I guess. I'll say that obviously compared to a Grom, this thing doesn't have the aftermarket support, which is kind of disappointing, but what can you do? But I think that kind of, kind of ends off my review. I didn't really get to do as much of a riding video as I would have liked, but that's life. Sometimes things just work out the way they work out. So on that disappointment of a note, hope y'all like, subscribe. Pit Bike Mike is out.